Hey, I'm Olivia,
And hey, I'm Dad.
and you're listening to Soarin' Around WDW. Welcome back, Flight Crew. I am so excited to have a special guest on today's episode, Ryan. You might know him from his Parkeology and EveryRide Challenge Run YouTube content or from seeing him around the parks. So today we are going to get to know him a little bit more and just hear his thoughts on the current state of the parks as well as his opinions on the evolution of the Parkeology and EveryRide challenges. So welcome, Ryan.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me, Olivia.
Of course. Happy to have you. This is so exciting. So tell us what kind of started your love of Disney? Did you start going as a young kid? Was it when you were older? Did you grow up in Florida? So start from the beginning, kind of give us your Disney history rundown.
Yeah, of course. I did not grow up in Florida, actually. I'm originally from Massachusetts.
Okay.
And yeah, I was lucky enough to come to Disney very frequently with my family. It kind of became like an annual vacation that we did. And it was honestly an immediate love. Like Disney has been in my life for as long as I can remember. So yeah, it was just an immediate love for Disney. It's always been there.
Okay, awesome. That's so fun. Yeah, we similarly, as a lot of our listeners know, but for new listeners, grew up in Michigan, but moved to Florida at a very young age. But it's always been a big thing for us ever since we were younger too. Did your parents also really enjoy going to Disney and like your family, was that like a big, like you said, family trip every year? So I'm assuming everybody enjoyed it if you kept coming back.
Yeah, definitely. It's kind of funny because my parents, before I was born, originally talked about doing the Disney Vacation Club, and that was when it was like
Oh,
90% the price of what it is now.
yeah,
Um,
yeah, much more affordable.
way more affordable. And they were like, "Ah, no, no, I don't think our family's gonna be like one of those Disney families." And then they were very wrong. And they were like, "Ah,
Yeah.
man, we should have done that." But, how are we supposed to know?
I know
Um,
it's so hard to know how your kids and if your kids will enjoy it too, even if you do and things like that. So yeah, that's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, but we went and then we just kept coming back. I know like as a little kid, I always just that this was my happy place. So I was always like asking my parents like, "Hey, when can we go back? When can we go back to Disney?"
Yeah.
My brother and I growing up, we made this game around our house where we would pretend to be riding Disney rides. And like even from like 5, 6 years old, like we had gone every year. So like we had like rides memorized, like we knew
Yeah.
the scenes in order. So yeah, it's just always been there.
That's so funny. Yeah, Regan and I, when we were younger, we used to always like reenact Tarzan Rocks, and then we would
Oh
also
my
always
gosh.
reenact Fantasmic. Those were like our two favorite shows. So we were definitely there too. And now kids are spoiled. Like my kids are now getting into the point of view that they just put on Disney Plus of Disneyland rides, and they're obsessed. And they'll sit there and just watch point of view. And I know that's been on YouTube for a little while, but the fact that they can access it on Disney Plus, which they're allowed to pick things from, it's just so funny. Like they don't even have to like use their imagination as much, but they love stuff like that too. So it's fun to watch it evolve over time and different generations. But back in the day, the imagination had to be a little stronger. That's for sure.
Yeah, but I think the main theme has just been like doing whatever it takes to pretend that you're there.
Yes,
And
exactly.
now it's easier, as you said, but back then even we were just pretending in our heads.
Yes, so fun. So, for those of you who don't follow Ryan's channel, you definitely should on YouTube, that guy Ryan, and on Instagram. But if you have followed him, you'll know that he is a Disney cast member. So, when did you become a Disney cast member? Are you able to share kind of which roles you've played throughout your time at the parks and how many years have you worked for Disney?
Yeah, for sure. I could talk a little bit about that. So I started working for Disney in 2017. I did the Disney College program.
Okay,
And
cool.
that was like peak experience of my life. Ever since I was like third or fourth grade, I knew that I wanted to work for Disney. Um,
Yeah.
and once I got my acceptance letter, I was like, fourth grade me is just beaming right now. Like he's so proud. So yeah, I did the Disney College program in 2017 and I worked at Splash Mountain. That was my role. I was in attractions in Frontierland. Um,
Cool.
and yeah, and I was there for about 8 months or so. And I did still have more school left to do. I had not graduated yet. And as much as I really did not want to go back,
Yeah.
I did end my program. I went home for about a year. So I went back up to Massachusetts. And the juxtaposition from like living in Florida, living near Disney, going like working in my favorite place, going on my days off to the parks, and then going back to cold, rainy,
Yeah, what a
gloomy
contrast.
Massachusetts. That was not it for me.
Yeah.
Um, so I was home for like 2 school semesters and I was like, I can't do this anymore. So then I applied for another Disney college program. It was the alumni college program, which I don't even believe they do anymore. It was just for the summer. And I kind of went through a number of roles when I came back. So I originally got accepted into food and beverage at
Okay.
Hollywood Studios. And it wasn't until I got there and was like ready to start my training and stuff that I was like, wait, I I have a food allergy. And
Oh
they were
no.
like, you can't work in food if you have a food allergy.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I worked at the Backlot Express in Hollywood Studios for all of 2 days. I had to
Oh wow.
they like kept me outside as like the greeter person. Um, and they like found me a new role to kind of accommodate that. So then I worked in parking at Hollywood Studios.
Oh
So I was like,
wow.
yeah, and it was during the summer, so it was super
In the
hot.
heat. Oh yeah, in the
Exactly.
thick of it. Wow.
Right. But that was awesome. I mean, like I wasn't sure that I was gonna enjoy that because of like the nature of the role and like just being out in the like direct sunlight all day. But I
Yeah.
loved it. Driving the trams and like being the spieler on the back of the trams, like that was awesome.
That's so fun.
Yeah. And then when that program ended, after like 3 months, I was like, I cannot go back home. But I still had school left to do. So I transferred schools and like finished my school down here and
Okay,
went
cool.
part-time back in Frontierland.
Oh,
And
awesome.
yeah,
Back to the beginning.
back to the beginning, exactly. When I left, I was like, this was the best time of my life. I have to come back to Frontierland. And I made it a point to. And I spent from like the next 6 years like working in Frontierland. Um,
Awesome.
so
Okay,
I was trained
cool.
at all of the Frontierland attractions, Thunder Mountain, Splash Mountain, Tom Sawyer Island, the Country Bear Jamboree. We took over the Liberty Bell at one point as like Frontierland operations, which was interesting since the name literally has Liberty Square in
Liberty.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
But I got the opportunity to work that, which was cool. We did parades, like we did like guest flow for the parades, which was awesome. So I worked a variety of different things. I was a trainer at Thunder Mountain and Splash Mountain and guest flow, and then I became a like coordinator, which is a frontline level manager for the land.
Okay,
So yeah,
cool.
I was there. I was there for a very long time.
Oh man, so we'll definitely have to get into your thoughts about Frontierland and all the changes here at some point too. But what's your favorite memory from being a cast member?
Ooh, that is tough. There's so many because I genuinely loved every second of what I did. I mean, I still work for Disney. I just, I'm now in a role that I can't talk about too much.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but I think back very fondly on my time in the parks because we quite literally, like, I know it's like a corny thing that cast members are told and, guests hear about cast members as well, but you genuinely are the ones that make a difference. The
Yeah,
the rides are cool, obviously. Like guests love the attractions. They come for the food, they come for the environment and the ambiance. It's the interactions that you have with the cast members who make your trip special, and that's what you remember. Because that's what I remember from being a kid,
definitely.
is the intimate interactions that you have with cast members who, despite the thousands of people that are in the park at the same time as you, they made you feel like you were special and like you were the only one there. So being
Exactly.
able to give that feeling back to the next generation of people that were coming to Disney meant everything to me because that's all I wanted to do growing up, and then to get to do it was so fulfilling.
Yeah, that's so cool. And you're so right. I mean, that's what makes people want to come back is the positive experience. If they had a negative experience or like other theme parks that we've been to where people are definitely not Disney standard for their cast members or their employees, it definitely does not bring that magic and you don't want to go back as much. But Disney, they just make it so special. And it's very rare that you have a poor interaction with the cast member. Everybody is always great, friendly, happy to be there. And just like you said, like you can tell they love their job, like it radiates through them, which is great. So yeah, that's so fun. I love to hear that. So
Yeah.
hopping over to your YouTube side, what inspired you to start your YouTube channel many years ago?
Oh, that's also a great question. It's kind of like it's got a lot of lore to it, I feel like.
Yeah.
So when I when I was still living in Massachusetts, my best friend Matt and I loved to like make dumb short videos together. And
Yeah.
no, like we thought we were so funny and we thought we
Yeah.
were like so cool. And looking back on like some of those videos from like middle school now are like super cringy. But we always
Yeah.
had this idea of like we're gonna make like fun, like sketch comedy, like videos because that's what was big at the time.
Yeah.
And it was mostly just for fun. We had the most fun filming them and talking about what we wanted to do and like editing them. And it never really got anywhere, but it was fun just to kind of
Do it.
do it. Exactly. It
Yeah.
was just a joy of creating. And that kind of like stuck with me. And once I got into college and like was getting ready to go to the Disney College program and like watching creators like Tim Tracker, for example, growing
Yeah.
up, I was like, you know what? I feel like that would be a fun way to tie in my love for Disney and also my, I guess joy for creating. Love for creating, I guess is a better word. And yeah, so I just kind of was like, you know what, let's give it a shot. And it also kind of tied in nicely because as a like graduation from high school present, my family got me a GoPro.
Oh,
And that's
nice.
that's the
Yeah.
camera I've been using ever since. It's now really outdated and really old, and I probably need to think about getting a new one. But I've been using
Yeah.
that since I started my channel. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of where it started, honestly.
Okay, cool. That's so fun. Yeah, I'm a little bit older than you, but when I was younger, I loved to create and record and had like a little old crappy camcorder that was smaller, handheld, not like a huge one that, my parents used, but I loved to like create little skits and plays and yes, watching them back is so cringy, but it's so fun and just you can see the joy and it's just for like the fun of it. So, I can
100%.
imagine if this, if YouTube would have been big when I was in middle school, I probably would have put up some really cringy, funny things. But I'm also kind of glad that not all of that got put out to the public.
For
Um,
sure. Yeah.
Definitely a lot of like fun Disney skit type content, which is super, super fun. So we really got to know you virtually through YouTube videos of your Parkeology and EveryRide challenge attempts. And your attempt number 5 video in particular, King of Genie Plus, was the video that we are not even kidding. We probably watched like 10 times prior to our first attempt and then even more prior to our second attempt. So at that time, there really was only your video, Park Speed's videos, and the original Parkeology videos that really truly vlogged the process. Like some people would vlog before and then vlog after, or like maybe in the car in between. But the actual process of the Every Ride Challenge, it really convinced me that it was possible to do because when Regan first came to me and said, I heard about this challenge, I really want to do it, I was like, no way, that's impossible. And he's like, it's not. Look at these videos. Like people are attempting this and they're getting 40, plus rides in a day. And I mean, it just blew me away. So it's super fascinating. So when did you first hear about Parkeology and the Every Ride challenges themselves?
Well, it's so funny that you told that story actually, because in that like scenario you just depicted, Reagan was Aaron and I was you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, I met Aaron by work, like through work. We
Oh,
did the Disney
cool.
College program together, and we were both working at Splash. We got trained together, so like we were alongside each other the whole like initial Disney journey. So that's kind of how we met.
Oh, that's so
Um,
fun.
yeah. And about like midway through our program, Aaron like came to me and was like, you know that meme with the guy pointing to the board and it's got like strings connecting all the pictures and his hair's like
Yeah.
all fuzzy. That was Aaron. And he was like, look at this thing that I found. Look, we could totally do this. And I was just like, I wasn't completely skeptical, but I also was just kind of like, okay, like, yeah, well, let's give it a shot. Like, I don't know. And because he was like, these guys, Parkeology, they've done it. They've ridden every ride. And I was like, okay, all right, yeah, I think we can do it. So I guess I didn't really doubt ourselves too much, but I also like we had no idea what we were getting into.
Yeah.
So we had like a couple other coworkers join us, and our friends Hannah and Kimber also joined us. So we were a party of 4 doing this, and we had no idea what we were expecting. Like we were not prepared at all. And we have
Yeah.
like those videos posted on our channel, and we
Yeah.
we didn't even make it like a quarter of the way through the challenge. We were walking most of the time. We stopped and met characters. Like we were not taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Um, and so after like doing that run, we were like, okay, there is way more involved in this than we originally realized. And I think Hannah and Kimber, our friends, also realized that, and they were like, we're good with what we had. We're good.
Yeah.
So Aaron and I were like, okay, well, we're not. So we're
Gotta keep
gonna
doing this.
yeah, we're gonna keep doing it exactly. So yeah, that's kind of where it started. Aaron introduced it to me. I had never heard of it before, and I was like, oh, I love Disney, and I love Disney rides. So trying to do them all in a day sounds incredible.
Yeah, and that's like you have to be a special kind of crazy Disney fan, especially like parks attraction fan to want to do this. And so for those of you who are new listeners, let me just explain a little bit briefly about Parkeology and EveryRide. So we do have an entire episode dedicated to the history of these challenges, and that was back episode 3 actually. And then we reviewed our first attempt together, Regan and I, on episode 10, and then episode 20 was our second attempt. So please give those a listen if this intrigues you more. It is one of our favorite things to talk about. And Ryan, feel free to jump in here anytime and add in. But the Parkeology Challenge was created by two friends and Disney super fans who met virtually back in the day on Disney chat boards in the mid 2000s. And that was Shane Lindsay and Ted Tamburo. And they were driven by a childhood obsession to maximize park time and devised the challenge in 2013 with the goal of riding every ride at Walt Disney World in a single day. They made their first attempt June 16th, 2013, but fell two rides short due to weather closures. However, they successfully completed the challenge on their second try, November 8th, 2014, which at that time the total was 46 rides. So the entire premise of this challenge is to ride every single open and operating ride, which is defined as anything that moves and is listed as an attraction on the map. So for Parkeology, this included Tom Sawyer rafts and the riverboat before their demise just a short time ago. It also includes things that people might not think about, like the Wildlife Express train at Animal Kingdom and the Carousel of Progress. Every ride, however, is basically the same idea, but did not previously count Tom Sawyer rafts, and the dreaded Main Street vehicles are actually a bonus for every ride.
Those dreaded Main
However,
Street vehicles.
they are a tricky one. They seem to be out a lot more often now, though, which
We're noticing
is,
that too.
yeah, so just definitely helpful for the challenge. But every ride has a bit of a different mission. They are a fundraising group that aim to use the challenge to support Give Kids the World, which is a nonprofit organization that has an entire village in the Orlando area where Make-A-Wish kids can actually stay for free during their time at Disney for Make-A-Wish. And you basically ask for pledges for money for rides completed or parks completed, and people donate almost like how people donate money for laps around the track for different fundraisers for cancer and things like that. I've not gotten to experience the village or the volunteer day myself, but Regan did get to go last December and see the entire area and said it was amazing. And I actually know a family personally from North Carolina who got to stay there for their kiddos earlier this year for their Make-A-Wish trip post leukemia treatment and said the place is just incredible. But have you seen the village, Ryan? Have you been to the Give Kids the World village?
I have. I've been once, and it was unfortunately I was not able to go with any of the every ride challenges. Like
Yeah,
I wasn't able to go those weeks, unfortunately. But I have gone on my own. I volunteered there once, and that
cool.
was actually with work, which was cool. It was a work organized event where we could all like sign up and volunteer, and I did go, and it is incredible. It is like it looks stunning, and it's just very inspiring to be there,
Yeah.
and especially with work and with Disney because that's part of like what we do. We support this and that's just incredible.
Yeah, exactly. Such a great mission. And Regan just described like there's one room where all these kids have their wishes posted on stars and they're kind of all over the walls and the ceiling and just like, definitely sad and touching, but just very that these kids have to go through all this to get here. But just, really inspiring too that it makes such a big difference to these kids to get to experience this place and come to the parks. I mean, it's pretty awesome.
It
So that's
is.
cool that you've gotten to go. And every ride does have some interesting twists. They have the classic every ride challenge that's just as it sounds, riding every single open and operating ride. And then they have the Every Ride Points Challenge, where you get points for what you complete with bonuses for completing the park that you finish entirely as well. There's also Every Ride 24, which is doing it all in 24 hours, and Every Ride Coast to Coast, doing both Walt Disney World and Disneyland Resort back to back days with an overnight flight thrown in there. Truly amazing. So they do also have some side challenges now, like Every Ride Teen and Every Ride Kids. But how many times would you say you have officially attempted this challenge?
I have actually officially attempted this challenge exactly 10 times.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. At the moment, as of recording this, I have only posted 6 of my videos of those attempts, but I have vlogged all of them.
Oh,
And
cool.
I'm slowly working through it. I have a lot of footage and not a lot of free time. But I
Yeah.
am I am doing my best and I am still plugging along with those and I'm very excited to get the rest of them up. And I'm looking forward to planning my 11th run because I'm just gonna keep doing this thing.
Yeah, that's how we are. It's like once you do it, you can't stop. It's like really, really hard to, you want to get that completion. And even once you do, I feel like people that do, it's just still, everything changes so often, which we'll talk about too. And so it makes it different every single time. Like no run is ever the same. Something closes, it rains, there's weather changes, different attractions are under refurbishment. And so it just makes it unique every single time, which is so fun. So your first challenge run was about 8 years ago. Is that right?
Yeah, that is correct. It was, oh man, I don't remember the date off my head, but it's April or May of 2017.
Okay, wow. And
Yeah,
then I know we talked a little bit about how that first challenge run went, and you weren't quite in the same mindset as you are today, but it was
correct.
back in the free Fast Pass era, right? Like it was obviously pre Genie plus Lightning Lane, all that stuff because it was pre-COVID.
That is correct. And it's also crazy to just think about how different Disney is between now and just 8 years ago. Like it's crazy. I never would have thought 8 years ago, I would never would have thought all these rides would be closed, all these new attractions would be opening, Fast Pass would be gone, all these different things. Like it's crazy how much has changed. But yeah, it was during the free Fast Pass era.
Yeah, and we often talk about how Parkeology has two separate like lanes per se. One that it's when every single thing is open on the same day, and the other where, things are down for refurbishment. And now it's almost never that every single thing is open and there's nothing under refurbishment these days. I feel like they're constantly closing things, refurbing things, changing things, overlaying things that I don't even know the last time that that existed as a possibility to attempt. It's been a long
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, and during that transition period, Aaron and I were always waiting to run for a time when all the rides were open. And we were seeing what you just described. As soon as one ride that was closed for refurbishment reopened, the next one would close. And finally, we got to a point where we were like, if we just keep waiting, we're never going to get to do this thing again. So
Yeah.
we just kind of were like, you know what? We're going to run when things are down for refurbishment. And that's just how it is.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you kind of have to have that mindset now and it's just so fun to do anyway all the time. Fun is like a
Oh,
funny word to use for
absolutely.
this, but we think it's fun. People probably think it's crazy and it's really hard on your body, which we can talk about too, but you also
Absolutely.
you also attempted during COVID times in the 2021 area. How was that challenge different? Were there pros and cons at these times for these challenges?
It was so strange. It was one of the strangest runs I think I've ever had because rides that normally are your go-to low wait time rides, like the carousel, that's the big one that comes to my head, but like the carousel, Dumbo, Barnstormer, like some of those ones that you might consider at first mention to be easy, quote unquote, easy
Yeah.
ones. They were some of the hardest ones to get because of social distancing. The lines were ridiculously long. Like we waited like half an hour for the carousel because of social
Wow.
distancing. And we were like, what is going on?
Yeah.
So that was a crazy part of it. And then this was also because of COVID when they introduced the park hopping restrictions
Mm-hmm.
and also like park reservation system and things like that. So we originally were like, you know what? We'll start at studios and I don't know. I honestly don't know why we thought that was the best idea. I think it was because Rise was one of the newest rides. So we were like, we kind of got to like rope drop that and see
Yeah.
like what the deal with that is. Because it might have been the boarding groups. We needed to get the boarding groups. So
Yeah.
so we started with studios and we were done with the park by like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and we were like, we're stuck here for 3 more hours. So like
Yeah.
we spent the whole morning doing a super intense challenge, and then we were like leisurely walking around, and we saw Muppet Vision, and
I remember
we
that.
got like a
Yeah.
bite to eat, and we were like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Like normally we are not doing this on our challenge days.
Yeah, I remember watching that in your video. You guys are like, all right, I guess we're gonna do Muppet Vision because what else are we gonna do to kill some time? So
Exactly.
yeah, that's so funny. The first time we did the challenge, the park hopping rules were still in place, and we started
Hmm.
at Epcot. And similarly, we finished, and Guardians had been new at that time. So we were like, all right, we're gonna start there and knock out Guardians. And that was still virtual queue. But yeah, I mean, we definitely like ate, sat down and ate and kind of took our time, which is so crazy to think about. Like now, that's like not even an option with the park hopping rules being gone.
I know, it's so
So
crazy.
it is crazy. What a different time. But current day challenge times, when was your most recent run and what was different about the most recent attempt?
Um, so I kind of so I did the Every Ride Kids. I did the Every Ride Kids challenge because I was like, I've never done a variation of this attempt
Yeah.
before. And I did it with my brother, which was also really cool
Oh,
because
fun.
he's recently started to get into like doing some of these runs. That was different for me simply because we were not trying to worry about every ride. So that
Yeah.
challenge, just in case you haven't heard it if you're listening, it basically cuts out any ride with a height requirement. So that there's a bit more specifications. Like it does have a list of rides that you have to hit, but
Yeah.
generally as a blanket statement, there are no rides with height requirements. So it's very interesting, like being in a challenge running type environment, not having to worry about like the big e-ticket attractions like Thunder in Space and like Tiana's and like it was just Everest. Like it was just interesting to not have to be stressing about those, but
Yeah.
instead be stressing about like, okay, when are we gonna do It's a Small World?
Yeah. Yeah. What a different level of stress, that's for sure.
Yeah. So that was like the most recent variation I've done. I have not done a full run since, my gosh, I think it was the last Every Ride challenge.
Okay.
That I think that's correct.
December, like December last year or
I
so.
think so. I did one in January.
Okay.
Man, I've done so many runs, I don't even have a recollection of this one because I haven't edited the
The
footage yet.
video. Yeah.
Right. But I did do a run in January 22nd was my last run of this year, 2025.
Okay.
So it's been
Yeah.
a little
And
while. It's been 8 months.
yeah, I feel like it's so funny when you're in it and you're in the planning stages and you're about to do it. That's all you're focused on, and then you finish, and then for us at least, it sounds like for you too, you don't necessarily edit the content right away, and so then we go back when we have time and like edit through the vlog, and then it gets us all like hyped to do it again, and then we're like, all right, when are we gonna do it next? And sometimes the next time is months from then, and so
Hmm.
then you're like looking forward to it, and it's really like a once a year thing almost if that. So yeah, it's funny like those in between times, but you're just like constantly thinking about it, watching the videos, editing the footage, planning, strategizing, watching other people do runs. So yeah, it's just so different. And so your last run in January then was the Lightning Lane, obviously era. So
Yeah.
how do you feel like that has changed the game compared to like Genie Plus? Do you think it's better being able to pick three to start? And now with the hotels getting to pick earlier, that's definitely affected things too. So what do you think about the Lightning Lane era and how it's impacted the challenge?
Yeah. It's well, kind of like you were saying, how it's become like this once a year kind of thing. I feel like for us, since we're locals here, previously before COVID, it used to be a lot more cost effective because FastPass was free.
Yeah.
The extended hours, both in the morning and in the evening, worked differently because you could be staying at any Disney resort and you would have access to both of them. So you
Yeah.
could book like a very cheap like Pop Century or an All-Star resort night and do it on that. And then
Yeah.
you really don't have any other costs to worry about aside from like gas, I guess, and food. And one year we did preferred parking, so like those were our
Yeah.
only costs. But now you have to buy the Lightning Lane. And then if you want those extended evening hours, assuming that they're offered on the day you run, you have to be staying at a deluxe Disney resort, which is significantly more expensive.
Yeah.
And then if you factor in all the other usual stuff like the snacks, we usually like go out and buy a bunch of like energy kind of like
Yep.
providing snacks and things. So like the snacks, the water, the parking if you decide to do that, and then gas and like it's become like a lot more of a financial investment, I guess,
Definitely.
which you can't always like do. Because if
Yeah.
I had my way, I'd like to do a run like every month.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
but unfortunately, it's a bit difficult to do that right now. So I think that's one of the like biggest things in terms of Fast Pass or Lightning Lane specifically. I think it's hard because we don't really get a lot of practice with Lightning Lane because we are not usually the people to go to the parks and buy it every single time we go. So
Yeah.
we really don't get any real-time experience with booking and playing the refresh game and seeing what attractions are available at what times and what's the best way to do this and stuff like that. Until it's the run day and we're like, all right, we're buying it for the first
Yeah.
time in a year. Let's see what happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely a different game and mindset. And that's what Regan is always in charge of lightning lanes because it stresses me out. Like, I just feel like I
That's
don't know
so
how to
fair.
mess with the system. But it's funny, we being out of state, it's definitely a cost prohibitive thing to do often because we're not annual pass holders currently. Regan is, but I am not because he lives in Florida most of the time and in Orlando most of the time. But he's traveling for work right now. So, but I live out of state now. I don't live in Florida anymore. So traveling down there, the cost of a hotel. For deluxe, we usually end up doing Swan off points or something from Regan's
Hmm.
like Marriott points because that counts as deluxe, which is great. But
That
even
is
then,
great.
still expensive. And yeah, Target run to get snacks and all that beforehand. And preferred parking we usually do swing for. So it adds up really quick. The next time we do a run, we'll have to kind of run the costs for people too. But it's not cheap, that's for sure. And it's definitely hard to do more often. But like you said, I would love to do it more if it was, less expensive to do.
It's such an exciting, fulfilling, and addicting challenge.
It is.
I want to come back every time.
Yeah, yeah. So do you have a date of when you plan to attempt next, or do you have an idea of like what you're looking for before you decide to attempt again?
I don't have a set date in mind. Aaron and I have always said that Septembers seem to be a really good time to do the runs just because there are low
Yeah.
park crowds, because people are going back to school. It is hurricane season in Florida, so the weather tends to sometimes drive people away if there's a lot of rain and stuff. And I know that can sometimes be very difficult for a challenge
Yeah.
because inclement weather brings rides down. But in terms of crowd level, like that is the best time, in our opinion, to go and run and do it. So I've been toying with the idea of doing a run in September, which is like in 2 weeks. Um,
Yeah.
so we'll see if that ends up happening. I'm not 100% sure yet, but if not September, I'd like to do one hopefully before the next Every Ride Altogether thing, which is usually in like December-ish time. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
Regan actually heard from somebody in the EveryRide community that they might be moving it to end of September this year because of
There
low
we go.
crowds. So you might have, I don't know that if they've like officially decided they haven't put anything out on social media yet, but he was chatting with some people because he's back in Florida right now and he's like, I kind of want to do this while I'm here, talking to some people that he knows and they're like, well, we might be considering moving it. Because yeah, similarly, December's with Jollywood Nights and the Christmas party, it's been
Mhm.
harder to find a time that you don't have to do like a hard ticketed event, which is another cost.
Right,
So
right.
yeah, it's just definitely different in September than it is. So it'll be interesting to see if they do move it, but that would be a great time. We're
Yeah,
still
for
trying to
sure.
figure out for us, it's more about the ride count. And right now, with the ride count being so much lower, there's so much closed refurbishment. They're getting ready to totally redo Frontierland. That's kind
Hmm.
of where we're like, well, we've hit 51 now, so we would love for it to be more than that. But I don't know when the next time that's going to be. So it's hard to wait. Like you said, you kind of either got to do it and just have fun with it, or, you can't wait forever. So we'll see what
Yeah,
happens.
for
But
sure.
what do you think is the most difficult part of doing this challenge? Is it the physical aspect? Is it the planning aspect? Like, what do you think is the hardest part?
I I think it's honestly a combination of elements. The physical thing is like it takes such a toll on your body.
Yeah.
I even when we do practices and stuff and we're like because we try to schedule some days ahead of time, and it's a bit harder now because we don't usually buy the lightning lanes for our practices. But we do
Yeah.
try to schedule some days ahead of time to be like, okay, this is when we think we're going to be starting at Hollywood Studios, and we want to try to finish Hollywood Studios by this time. So let's just go to the park and give it a shot and see if we can do all of Studios from this time to this time. And
Yeah.
we'll do a practice. So in the like week or so leading up, we'll usually try to do that. But even with those, I'm like, I still did not run enough.
Yeah.
Like the day of the challenge comes and I'm like, oh, it is 9 a.m.
You
and my
feel
legs
it.
are already sore. Ah, this is not going to be good.
Yeah, definitely. That's
Um,
like the first challenge that we did. I felt like way more prepared, and it was funny. Regan was stressing me out because he's a lot taller than me. He's like 6'4" almost. He's 6'3.5", and I'm like 5'7". So I'm like, I'm gonna have to run way faster than
that
him
stride
to
difference
keep
makes a
up.
huge difference. Yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
but I actually like blew him out of the water the first run, and he was not as prepared. But then the second run, he really upped his game, and I feel like I backed off a little, and I was struggling. Like it definitely
Yeah.
hits you. So that physical aspect is hard.
The physical aspect is hard. And then I also think the frustration of when things, unexpected things that you have zero control over, like just don't go your way. And
Yeah.
no matter how immaculate your plan is, no matter how many times you've practiced it, no matter whatever, ride downtimes, inclement weather, anything can change. And I've
Yep.
always said that the butterfly effect has, I see it the most prominent in this challenge because something so small, something so insignificant, seemingly,
Yeah.
happens like right at the start of your day, and that could affect your ability to finish the challenge by the end of the day.
Totally.
Like if I think, for example, in our third attempt, which was one of my favorites because this was like before we knew about every ride, maybe even before every ride was really like a thing. We booked a challenge day, and it just so happened to align with a day that tons of other Parkeology runners were also doing it. We had
Mm-hmm.
no idea. We showed up that day and like we were like, "Oh, you're running the challenge?
Yeah.
Wait, you're running the challenge? Wait."
Yeah.
And that was so cool because we didn't really know this was like this big of a community. And so we kept running into each other over the course of the day. We took like a big photo at the end of the night. It's just fulfilling when like it drives you forward to like when you've got other people running alongside you
Definitely.
also doing it. You get kind of like competitive, but like in a positive way because you're like, I want all these people to succeed, but like seeing their ride counts go up on Twitter when I'm making my tweet, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna keep pushing because they're doing it. During that challenge, we missed the Main Street vehicles because the dreaded Main Street vehicles just never came out, and
Yeah.
we kept going back to Main Street, and not just Aaron and I, like the whole
Group.
everybody, like we were
Yeah.
all meeting up on Main Street, and we went back like 3 or 4 times, and looking back on it now, I'm like, if we had gotten it, for example, like before the park opened, and we did not make those constant runs back to Main Street, would we have finished? You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
exactly. That one little thing. And that's how we are too. Like the last run that we did last December, it was a couple of days after the big Every Ride run that you were at too, the group day. And everybody, Regan went in the morning and kind of ran with everybody through Animal Kingdom just for fun. And then we just watched everybody online throughout the day. I was traveling at that time from North Carolina to Florida for our run. And I wasn't able to get there for the group run, which was such a bummer. But and things just kept like going wrong out of the blue that they had no control over. And Regan was just like, oh man, this like scares me for our day because it's just, yeah, you can think. And it's funny, even when we first started preparing for our first challenge, we were watching your videos and we were like, why would he do this? Or why would he do that? Or why? But then when you get into it and you're like, oh, because this goes down, you have to go. Like, why would you go from one end of the park to the other? Well, if everything else is done and you've only got one thing, but it's shut down, you're going back and forth, back and forth. And so it's so funny how you look at other people and you're like, why would they do it that way? And then you get into it yourself and you're like, oh, because so much of this is so out of your control, like you said. So it's so interesting to think about like that aspect. But the community really is special. And I mean, even I remember in one of your challenge videos when it started raining and you're like, I'm done. And then everybody's like, no, keep going, keep going. And like, you're like, all right, one more. Or like, okay, I just have to beat my last one. Or okay, I'm motivated to get here. Because that one thing that sets you off in the morning, if you let it get you down right away, you're never going to make it through to the end because it is such a mental game and physical game. So you have to try to like spin it and stay positive, but it can be hard, especially if it's something that then you can't finish at that park or you know you're not going to totally finish. It can be a really big, mind change for you.
Absolutely. It is just as much a mental game as it is a physical one because there can be so much working against you. Your body's screaming at you after running all day.
Yeah.
Rides are down. It's pouring rain. Like, just all hope is lost. But I think during that specific run that you're talking about, like, Aaron and I sat in his car after being drenched from running from Rise of the Resistance in the pouring rain back to his car.
Yeah.
We were supposed to go to Epcot and Aaron was like, I cannot do anymore. And I was like, I really want to, but I'm also like, I feel you. And
Yeah.
like we made a post saying like we were done, whatever. And people just kept commenting like, no, keep going. Like we're following you, we're cheering you on, do it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then Parkeology commented and they were like, we know Rain. And you guys, like our team name is the Splash Guys, and he was they were like,
Yeah.
you have water in your name,
Yeah.
like
You can't
do
give
one
up.
more. And
Yeah.
Aaron saw that specific one from Parkeology, and he was like, all right, and he threw the car in gear, and he was like, we're going to Epcot.
Yeah.
It was like something
It's
out of a movie.
It's so funny. It's so motivating. And that's how even, yeah, our first run, we ran into rain and it is so like once you're soaked, you're just like, all right, this is so miserable. And we even changed clothes, but Regan didn't have like tennis shoes and was in Crocs after that. But I was like, no,
Oh,
we have to keep going. And I mean, in the moment, he was like, this is horrible. But now looking back, he's like, I'm so glad we didn't just quit. Like we were, we still got a lot more added to our ride count and it was still fun. But
exactly.
yeah, it's like the community that really kind of brings you up and is like, no, keep going. And, it's not, you'd think maybe some people would think that it'd be the opposite. Like they're like, oh, yeah, good, you're done. Good. Yep, I'm still at the top or whatever. But they're really not. Everybody is just like wants to see
No,
everybody succeed. And it's really fun to see that. So I love that about this community for
for
sure.
sure. I think what's really cool about it is a lot of the people in the community have been in that exact place before, so they know what it feels like to be at that point and be ready to give up and either one keep going or two like give up and then regret later not doing it. So they know what you're going through.
Yes,
It's cool.
exactly.
It's a great community.
It is a great community. So, what is your favorite part about doing this challenge?
I think it's honestly just the thrill of it. We have such a good time every single time we do it. And like we've kind of talked about before, every single attempt is different. We have not had the same experience twice, and I don't think
Yeah.
we ever will because rides close either permanently or for refurbishment for a run or like whatever. But rides close, new rides open, park hours change, park rules change, fast pass
Yep.
changes, lightning lane comes, park hours are different. Like everything is different every time you do it. So it's always a fresh challenge. Whether or
Yeah.
not you complete it is a whole different story, but it's cool just to be running through, for me anyway, be running through my favorite place, doing some of my favorite attractions of all time, and trying to literally ride all of my favorite rides at like on one day.
Yeah.
Simply, that's the coolest thing ever for me is like I have the opportunity to do that.
Yeah. It's so much fun. It really is just such a thrill. Is there anything about the challenge that you would change if you could? Any rules or any rides you would eliminate?
Honestly, I do really like the way that it is. I think, and Aaron and I we're kind of it's kind of like a pride now thing because we started with parkeology rules, which I would
Yeah.
argue are a lot stricter than every ride's rules.
Oh, yeah.
And while I still run I still run both challenges, and most times when I do it, I'm running both simultaneously.
Yeah.
But I try to stick to the stricter parkeology rules. So honestly, I'm more of like the rule person because I like have parkeology's rules memorized, and I'm like, no, I can't. I have to ride Tom Sawyer Island. I know every ride says I don't, but I have to.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I would change, if there was one thing, is to just get rid of the Main Street vehicles.
I know. Oh man.
It's ruined so many of my runs just because of its limited hours and like it can't it's so unpredictable of when it's going to run and when it's not. So if I were to remove one thing or change one thing, it would be that. But otherwise, I'm good. I'm good with a I can take the challenge.
Okay, cool.
What about
Yeah,
you?
I mean, I agree about Main Street vehicles, and I was very on the like fence about the Tom Sawyer rafts, and Regan was like, "No, it's on there." We get so our last challenge, we did it. Again, did that cause us to miss Spaceship Earth and not finish every ride? I don't know. Not sure, but it was a pride thing, and Spaceship Earth was down. Like, it would have been almost not impossible because Parkeology is like nothing's impossible, but it would have been very difficult because it was down the entire time we were at Epcot. We would have had to get
I do
there
remember
a
that.
lot earlier. So I mean, who
I do
knows? Like you
remember
said,
that.
the butterfly effect, like you'll never know what one thing could have impacted another. But yeah, I agree with you about Main Street vehicles. That is just not, it's just not it. And I wish just
Yeah.
in general, maybe not a challenge rule, but that Disney would open up like later extended hours to more guests again, not just deluxe.
You
Because
know what? I would agree with that too. It's not a challenge
yeah,
rule, but yeah.
yeah. I wish that would change. But jumping back into Disney park changes real quick before we wrap up here, how do you feel as a Frontierland guy about the losses of things like Rivers of America, Tom Sawyer Island, and even Muppet Vision 3D going over to Hollywood Studios? Are you excited about the change, but also sad? Are you mostly just sad? Like, where do you lie with these changes?
It's hard because it's always exciting to have something brand new coming to Disney. It's just such a cool thing because you're like, oh man, like an experience I've never done before because I go to the parks all the time. I've been hundreds of times. I've ridden everything. So it's cool when like something fresh is on the horizon.
Yeah,
But I am such a nostalgic guy and all of these older attractions have been a part of my childhood and a part of my life since, like I said before, as long as I can remember. So it is so hard to see some of those things go permanently. Like it's hard to let go of it. And this this might be a bit dramatic, but it almost kind of feels like losing a best friend. Like that's how significant Disney has been in my life. And
yeah,
I hold a personal attachment and like strong emotional connections to all of the attractions in Disney. So it's very hard to see things go, especially in Frontierland, because that place was home for me for 7 years. And
yeah,
I worked every single attraction. And in the last like honestly, like Tiana's opened like a little over a year ago. Since that ride opened, everything that I worked on in Frontierland is either gone or significantly changed from the last time that I was working there.
yeah,
It's so difficult because I do feel excited for like the future and what's coming, but I'm also so devastated about the loss of some of these like older classic attractions and I understand they weren't necessarily the most popular rides. Like, no, not a lot of people were going to the park with the intention of going to Tom Sawyer Island for a long period of time
right.
or riding the riverboat necessarily. Those rides in particular provide such great ambiance and environment, and it's a kinetic part of the land because things are moving and back and forth across the river all day long. So it was just such a staple to like walk through Frontierland and you see the big boat and you see the small rafts. So I don't know, it's gonna be very different seeing Frontierland without those things. I mean, seeing any area of any park without one of its attractions, it's gonna be so hard and so different for a while, but I don't know. I am excited for what's to come.
Yeah, we also have mixed feelings. I know Regan was personally super excited about Riverboat going from a challenge perspective and the rafts, like he was just like big time sucks there
Yeah.
between the Riverboat and the rafts riding back and forth. But in general, I think yeah, the ambiance is going to be super different. And I also love Frontierland. Big Thunder Mountain is one of my favorite attractions. I also was a huge Splash Mountain fan, and I like Tiana's too, but I just think, yeah, the nostalgia factor is very strong there. And similarly, I feel that way about Hollywood Studios. It's my favorite park, and I love a lot of the things that they've done, but it does break my heart a little bit to, see all these changes and it's not even the same park anymore. So similar to Frontierland, it's like, is it even really Frontierland anymore? It's so hard to see. But yeah, it is cool to see what's up and coming. So we'll see how it looks all at the end. I'm sure they'll do a great job, but losing those things can be really difficult.
For sure.
Which of the upcoming changes that have already been announced are you most excited for?
I think I'm most excited for the Monsters Inc. section of Hollywood Studios. And I am definitely going to miss Muppet Vision. Like that show
Yeah.
was comedy gold, honestly. Like
Oh, yeah.
so quotable, so funny. So I miss it and I'm going to continue to miss it for a long time. Like I can't tell you, I probably at least once a day think about Ellen's Energy Adventure and Great Movie Ride.
Yeah. Oh, Great Movie Ride is
So
my favorite. Yeah.
I will 100% be adding Muppet Vision to that category of I miss you that much. But I think I'm most excited for Monsters Inc. I think that's going to be so cool. I think ever since that movie came out in like what, 2002, 2003,
Yeah.
like fans across the world are like, this is such an easy, why aren't you putting a door coaster in the parks? This is such a, it's right there.
Yeah.
So I think that the fact that they're finally doing that, I think that's really cool, and that definitely deserves to be there.
I agree. That's the thing I'm most excited for too. And just seeing it come to life and all the models and different things that they've put out of it, it looks like it's going to be awesome. So definitely looking forward to that area too. And I loved Muppet Vision. It's one that I've always made time for with the family. And one, everybody's kind of like, oh, Muppet Vision again. And but now like my oldest daughter also really liked it. And so she's only seen it twice and now it's gone. And so
Oh
it's
man,
it's yeah, I know it's hard. And putting them on Rock and Roller Coaster to me is just not the same. That was kind of like a band-aid for a bullet hole. It's like, well, we'll give you something to kind of get you through, but
I couldn't agree
yeah.
more.
Yeah. So we'll just see how all that turns out, but I do think Monstropolis, that whole area is going to be super cool. So a couple of rapid fire questions for you here. Wanted to go through some things that we ask all of the guests of our show. So
Let's do
what
it.
is your favorite ride at Magic Kingdom?
That would be Splash Mountain. I think I would be remiss to not say that. I know it's not there anymore, but that has always been my favorite Disney attraction ever since I was a kid. First time I rode it, that became my favorite, and it stayed that way for my entire life. But if we're talking current rides, it's probably a tie between People Mover and Carousel of Progress.
Okay. Oh yeah, I love the People Mover too. That is definitely a favorite of mine. And yeah, Splash was such a great attraction. What about at Epcot?
Epcot is probably living with the land.
Oh yes, that's a great one. Some good vibes there
I love
too.
the classic rides that honestly not a lot of people think to go to, but those are my favorites.
Okay, good. And what about Animal Kingdom then?
Animal Kingdom is Dinosaur.
Dinosaur. Oh, so then you're definitely sad
I
about that one
know
going too.
it's just one hit after another I'm
It
taking, but
is.
it's okay. We'll get
Yeah.
through it.
Oh goodness. What about at Hollywood Studios?
That that one's tough because I two completely different rides, but it's either Tower of Terror or Toy Story
Yeah.
Mania.
Those are our favorites too. That's so funny. That's yeah, mine and my husband, we both love Toy Story Mania so much, and Tower of Terror is my favorite of all time. So I agree. It's such so good. What's the first attraction you would get rid of if you could?
Oh, this is going to be hard because it goes completely against everything I just said about loving every single attraction. And it's true, I do. But I think if I were to think about the weakest attraction out of all of the parks, I would probably say the one I do the least is Tomorrowland Speedway.
Oh, I know. We just talked about that actually in an upcoming episode, or I guess I don't know where this will air in between with that one, but as one that, yeah, it's rough, it's hot, the smell of the gas and the loud motors, it's yeah, it's not great. Um,
Yeah.
and then what about your favorite ride that is now gone? Obviously, I'm guessing Splash Mountain, but other than that, what would be your second choice?
Oh man, that is such a hard question too because I regularly think about so many of them. Maelstrom, Great Movie Ride, Ellen. There's so many. I think my answer might vary depending on the day, honestly. But right
Okay,
now,
fair.
I really have been missing Great Movie Ride recently. Aside from Splash.
Yes. That
That would be the
is
caveat.
such a good one. I really wish they would have kept that one around. And what about show? Is there a show that you miss that's no longer there?
Um, I does Ellen count?
Sure, Ellen can count. Why
Yeah,
not?
I feel like that is the one that I missed the most because it was like part ride, part show.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I'm sure there's like a major show that I'm missing right now that I will probably an hour from now be like, wow, how did you miss that? But I'd say Ellen, and then Muppet Vision will probably be towards the top of that list as time goes on and we get further away from my last experience of that show.
True. Yes, that's true. What about your favorite hotel at Disney?
I really, really like the Wilderness Lodge. That's my favorite. The
That's a good
vibes
one.
are immaculate in that hotel.
They are. That's our dad's favorite too. What about Park Snack?
The Mickey Premium Bar.
Ooh, yes, same. I love that. What about favorite Disney character?
This should be like an off the dome answer, but it's kind of not. I've always been fond of Dopey.
Okay, that's a good answer. I like
Yeah.
that. And what about your favorite Disney movie?
Wreck-It Ralph is up there, actually.
That's a
I
good
love
one.
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah,
That's a
we
that's a
need
very
to.
underrated movie.
I agree. We love that one too. Our girls love to watch that. The first and the second actually. They really like both.
Yeah, the second one was good too. I think
Yeah.
for a non-animated Disney movie, and I might get some flack in the comments for this, but the 2004 Eddie Murphy Haunted Mansion.
Oh, yeah.
That was my go-to childhood movie.
I love that one too, which yeah, similarly, I know people are like, it was horrible, but I loved it. And so actually our dad did too, and he's a huge Haunted Mansion person. So
Yeah.
I liked the newer version too, but the older one is my favorite for sure, if you had to
The older
ask
one
me.
was so funny, so quotable.
So quotable.
Yeah, I
That's
watched it so frequently growing up.
that's awesome. And the last question that I always love to ask guests of the show, what do you think makes Disney so special or unique compared to other theme parks?
That is such a great question because Disney does have like the key to making people feel special,
Yeah.
and excited to come back every time. And I really do think it's the people that they select to work there as cast members. I really think that makes the difference because people are there because like I'm going to use my story as an example, but people love Disney because they spent time going there as a kid and like it gets made out to be this like fantastical thing and you see ads for it on TV and whatever. Like even if you don't get to go super frequently growing up, it's like this thing that you're like, oh, one day I want to come here.
Yeah.
And you go, and I think it's the people there. I know I said this exact thing earlier, but the rides are awesome. The food is awesome. The ambiance is awesome. The hotels are stunning. But the way that cast members still manage to make your individual day special and unique from the thousands of other people that are in the parks every day, that's what makes it different. It's the
Yeah.
people that go out of their way to make sure that you in particular have a good time. No other theme park does it quite like Disney.
I agree. Yeah, the people that definitely make the difference, like we talked about earlier, it's very, very special and magical because of the people that are there. That's a great point. So, for this new year of episodes, we are doing a fun little thing, a Would You Rather Disney edition. And we had some fans of the show submit some questions for us to answer. So,
That's cool.
yes, for this week's Would You Rather, I am going to choose our friend Tink underscore Darling. Would you rather stay all day on Pirates of the Caribbean or It's a Small World?
Ooh. I feel like for me that's an easy one. I would do Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, me
Bef
too. I'm curious who would
yeah,
pick Small World, but maybe there's some really big Small World fans out
there
there.
might be, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Or they don't want to be in the dark, most of the day because that
That
one,
is
at least
true. Or if
Pirates is
like
in
you're
the
afraid
dark.
of like drops or something. Even
True.
though Pirates is like it's a small drop, it's still there.
And you can get wet occasionally.
You can
So
occasionally, yeah,
that's true.
depending on where
Well,
you sit.
yes. So thank you so much, Tink underscore darling, for submitting that question. It has been super fun to hear y'all's Would You Rather. So please submit any of them if you'd like to in the comments and we will shout you out. But thanks again for joining us, and especially a big thank you to Ryan for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on here and really just talk Disney with us. It's so fun to talk to people who love the challenges like we do and get the same high from the experience. There's not a lot of people out there brave enough to attempt the challenge, so it's super fun to meet others who have done it and who enjoy really putting your body and brain through the extreme difficulty that the challenge is. So, Ryan, tell our listeners where they can find you and follow along your content.
Well, first, Olivia, thank you so much for having me on the show. This was such a great time. I
Yeah.
love talking about the Parkeology Challenge with other people who love talking and doing the Parkeology Challenge. Yeah, I am on YouTube. My channel is called That Guy Ryan, all one word. YouTube.com/That Guy Ryan. And then on pretty much all of my social medias, I am at That Guy Ryan 97. So again, all one word, no underscores, nothing like that. Just That Guy Ryan 97. And mine and my friend Aaron's combined Parkeology team Twitter is at the Splash Guys. Once again, all one word. And that's where you can follow most of our runs, either on my Twitter or on the at the Splash Guys Twitter.
Awesome. Well, we'll definitely be looking out for your vlogs that you post that you haven't edited yet, and along with your next future runs. So it's always fun to watch each other and cheer each other on. So maybe one
Absolutely.
day we'll end up being at one of these Give Kids the World challenges together at some point. But
That would be awesome. But until then, I will continue to follow yours.
yeah, awesome. Well, thanks again, Ryan. I hope that you have a great rest of your night. And thanks again, listeners, for coming on. And we will see y'all next week. Hey, thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to give us a follow on Instagram at Soarin Around WDW Pod, where we share fun reels, throwback photos, and dive into our old versus new debates. If you're listening on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. And for our Spotify listeners, a follow and a 5-star review would mean the world. If you're listening on Apple, hit that 5-star button and leave us a written review as well. Thanks again for joining us. See you next time.